What I'm going to do is to start the discussion from Africa and then to the UK. And the first thing is to give you a clip of a film on FGM, and then I'll come back to speak with you. Yeah.
Je, ni kweli kwamba ukiacha ukeketaji na mila zote zitakuwa zimekufa? Sio kweli.
Sasa kwa kwenda nipelekea jandoni kwa kuiba, lakini ya mbaya ikapitia.
Hebu semeni wote namna hiyo. How many of you would like to go through the cutting? Ni nani? Hebu semeni wote sauti moja. Nobody.
Assalamu alaikum. Annaga gudniin faraq noo ma laha. Gudniin waa gudniin. Ilaahay xubintan uu abuuray oo uu shaqo u abuuray.
إذا نحن بناني وحاين سدح مالمود أيام ديك بحية.
مركي كذا تدبر يعني ما أنت تيار يعني زين.
Mais tu peux demander pardon à Dieu pour les filles qu'elle avait ici.
C'est bon. Give me now woman no so ma wara wa mi he on dawo. La sa ya kisigura ya. Ai. Ye le ba zalim go to mi. No, le kai.
Between 100 and 140 million girls and women, mostly in Africa, in 28 countries of Africa, have undergone genital mutilation. The good news is that there is now a movement of grassroots activism.
Mais après la sensibilisation.
People now have moved a little bit beyond the cultural practice to seeing FGM as a major human rights abuse.
When I was 14 years old, my father decided me to be married off. I told him no, because I want to continue with my education. They beat me. They have removed me all the clothes, and they beat me nakedly.
Female genital mutilation is one of the greatest human rights violation, which has been going on for centuries, and it's just now over 30, I would say 30 to 40 years work that the issue is coming up. And currently, in terms of the numbers affected globally, between 100 to 140 women and girls have undergone some form of genital mutilation. And in Africa, every year about 3 million girls are at risk of undergoing genital mutilation. And in fact, with population growth, this is it's increasing all the time. And often there is this feeling that, oh, okay, the issue is over there in Africa, but here in the United Kingdom, the estimate is that about 66,000 women have already undergone genital mutilation, and over 24,000 girls are at risk of genital mutilation. And I'm currently updating these figures, which were based on 2001 statistics. So since 2001, we think that the population has actually increased. The practice itself is, people tend to confuse it with male circumcision, but it's quite different because there's a range of mutilation which WHO has classified into types. Basically, it's either removing the female organ, most 80% of it is removing the female organ, the clitoris, which in biological terms is the same as the male organ. And it's either partial removal or total removal. There is another type where after the clitoris has been removed, the inner lips are also removed. And in the most severe form, almost 2/3 of the genitals are removed, and then the place is stitched up, and an opening, the type like the head of a matchstick, is left for urination. So when I came into contact with this in the 70s, this woman is actually in labor, about to deliver, but there was no room at all for the woman to deliver. It's the most inhuman practice I've ever seen. And it's not discussed. It's been very controversial, but over the last 30 years, a lot of us have focused very much on getting it onto agendas. First, for me here, I set up an organization called Forward, and I started working on this, first highlighting the fact that there are women living in this country who have undergone genital mutilation, and also trying to link up with activists like some of them you've seen on this clip, who were working on it, and they in their own home countries. But it was so controversial, they couldn't raise the issue. So they were sort of knocking on our doors and saying, Efua, since you have the opportunity here, can you raise it from at the UN level? And we did. And that's how the whole thing then came back into the agendas of people. I actually went over to work with the World Health Organization for about 8 years, where we started the process of fielding FGM through the World Health Assembly, and then getting it onto the agendas of member states. And now we are in a situation where in Africa, at least, FGM is practiced in about 28 African countries, mainly from most of the West African countries to East Africa and Northeast of Africa. FGM is also practiced in parts of the Middle East and in Asia, like Indonesia, Malaysia, and amongst specific ethnic or religious groups in Pakistan, India, but there isn't much figures on it. But I wanted to highlight mainly the issue as it affects our girls here. It's been something that the government has not taken a lot of leadership on this, and has sort of left it to women's organizations on the ground to be doing work with their communities. And this has been going on for 30 years. But there are now second generation females who, over the period, Britain has a law since 1985. The law was also updated in 2003. But if you go to these communities where FGM is practiced, almost all the second generation had undergone it. So in the last 18 months, we've been able to, a few of us have decided that the only way we could deal with genital mutilation is to bring the government into it, because FGM is child abuse. In terms of child care law, is child abuse. And the only way we can deal with it is to have a multi-agency whereby midwives, health visitors, social workers, teachers are all involved in this. And I am very happy to say that we're moving very strongly in that direction. The police is very much engaged with the issue. We haven't had a prosecution in this country, but it's just a matter of time. I would sort of ask all of you to go to the government website where you have the petitions, because what we've done is we have a petition on government leadership on tackling FGM, which is there. At the moment, we've got about 90,000 people who have signed on to this petition. If we reach 100,000, we can have a debate, a much stronger debate in Parliament. And if you needed to get involved in it, please contact us. I'm at Equality now. Thank you.